Are the writers of The Simpsons time travelers, or are they related to Nostradamus? The Simpsons never disappoints viewers with its eerie Simpsons predictions that ring true years later. The Simpsons family is made up of several characters, but the main characters are Homer, Marge, Lisa, Bart, and Maggie. Each episode is filled with the Simpsons family interacting with other residents of Springfield, including guest stars that appeared in some episodes on The Simpsons. Yet what intrigues viewers is how some events were predicted by The Simpsons writers at least 5 years before it happened. So, what did The Simpsons predict? Could it be that The Simpsons really predicts world events, or is the world just following The Simpsons script? There's no doubt that the wild narratives from more recent seasons will be added to the growing Simpsons predictions list. There's no telling exactly which ones will come true in the coming years. The best Simpsons predictions aren't just shocking, they're also often strange, funny, and somehow make sense all at the same time. Here are 6 predictions that are actually eerie. Number 1. A submersible disaster. A more recent prediction from The Simpsons became clear earlier this year, when fans made the connection between the Titanic submersible disaster and the episode Homer's Paternity Coot. In the episode, Homer finds a man he thinks is his long-lost father and agrees to venture into the depths of the ocean with him in an attempt to find an old ship. Disaster strikes and Homer gets stuck, but thankfully opens his eyes in a hospital a few days later. Last June, a real-life submersible carrying 5 passengers toward the sunken Titanic unfortunately imploded. The expedition to see the wreck dominated conversations around the world, and the tragedy has raised crucial questions about safety regulations and protocols to prevent a similar event from ever happening again. Number 2. The God Particle. One of the most shocking Simpsons predictions yet, the Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, shows Homer's attempts at becoming an influential inventor like Thomas Edison. In a small part of the episode, Homer's seemingly nonsensical writing on a chalkboard reveals itself to be a complex math equation. Renowned British science writer Simon Singh told The Independent that Homer's final figure on the chalkboard isn't too far from the 2012 CERN Higgs boson discovery. If you work it out, you get the mass of a Higgs boson that's only a bit larger than the nanomass of what a Higgs boson actually is, Singh said. It's kind of amazing as Homer makes this prediction 14 years before it was discovered. Number 3. Smartwatches. In the classic season 6 episode of The Simpsons, Lisa's Wedding, there were more than a few jokes about future tech, with only one really getting the future right. The episode showed a brief moment where Hugh talks to his watch, predicting the rise of smartwatches almost 2 decades before the first one would be introduced to the world. It's a fleeting moment that didn't mean much back then, but highlighted key tech like digital watches and voice recognition that would become commonplace today. Too bad Hugh's attempts at using the technology to propose to Lisa back then didn't quite work out as well as he had hoped. Number 4. FaceTime. In the same 1995 episode Lisa's Wedding, Lisa went to a fortune teller who predicted Lisa's future in 2010. Lisa's future consisted of her marrying her college sweetheart. Excited to share the news, she called her mom. The phone that Lisa dialed included a screen that showed Marge's face in real time attached to a rotary dial. While Skype was invented in 2003, it served primarily as the calling service used on computers. In 2010, Apple announced that it developed FaceTime for Apple users. The app allowed users to not only talk, but see the person that they were talking to through the phone's camera. Number 5. Trump presidency. The episode Bart to the Future premiered in 2000, where Bart Simpson saw his and his sister's future. The leader of the country was Lisa Simpson. Lisa mentioned that the United States was tasked with fixing the economy after former Donald Trump's presidency. Not only was Trump elected president in 2016, but one scene from the show looked as if it was almost replicated in real life. In the same episode, a crowd of people watched as Donald Trump descended an escalator. It's a scene that's now among the Simpsons predictions that came true. In reality, President Trump also descended the escalator with First Lady Melania Trump, while a group of supporters watched in the background. And number 6. 2016 Nobel Prize winner. In the 2010 season opener, Lisa, Milhouse, and a bunch of her nerdy friends have stayed up late to hear the winners of the Nobel Prize, in which Krusty wins the Nobel Peace Prize. But then we get a look at Martin's betting pool card, and we see Milhouse had predicted an economics prize for Bengt R. Holmstrom, who actually went on to win 6 years later. MIT's Holmstrom was joint winner of the 2016 Nobel Prize in Economics with Oliver Hart for their work on contact theory. So what are your thoughts? Do you think the writers can predict the future? Or could it be that they are in on this grand simulation we call life?